How can you make yourself stand out from the competitors without hurting competitive pricing? Oh man, Luis is asking great questions. I'm gonna say it again because it's a phenomenal question. How can you make yourself stand out from the competitors without hurting competitive pricing? Luis, great question, brother. So I was actually hoping somebody would ask this question, Kai. This is a great question. Luis, I love it, man. Yeah, we talk about this all the time. This is how I've been able to make a living, and I'm gonna keep it very simple. By meeting and exceeding customers' expectations. Again, meeting and exceeding customer expectations and developing relationships. So that's how you can stand out from competitors without beating yourself down to the ground to try to compete with some of the guys that have lower rates. It's going to take some time, Luis. Be patient, my brother. Be patient, but be consistent. Every day you go out there, brother, you got to just give it the best you got. Be genuine with people. Be transparent with people, okay? And just tell them, I'm servicing you to the best of our ability. So what they're paying for is the service you're giving them, not the price, not the $2 or $3 or the $5 less an hour or the load. If somebody's charging 80 and you're charging 85, okay? Let me tell you something. Contractors, okay, when they get to see that you service them like no one else, I promise you, in the long run, they're not going to care if they pay an extra $2, an extra $3, or even an extra $5. Why? Because they're trying to get work done, and work being done on a timely matter, not to mention a safely matter, means everything to them, even if they don't tell you that. So make sure, okay, that you stand out by being, again, transparent, being upfront, being genuine, and tell them, hey, I'm going to service you to the best of my ability. I hope that answers your question. Javier Moore, how do we find mechanics in our area that have dump truck experience or heavy equipment experience to let us know if a dump truck is worth purchasing? That is a great question. One of the challenges that I had in starting, and everybody's probably gonna have this challenge. I hope not, but Javier, one of the challenges I had, man, and this is a great question. When I started, I couldn't find good mechanics. I really, truly couldn't. It took me a few years to actually find some good mechanics. So I kind of had to play the filter game. So what I would do is the following. This goes back to building a network, building connections. Try to build a connection with somebody that's already in the dump truck business, whether it's an owner, operator, or somebody who's just been in the business in general, and ask them, hey, man, who's your mechanic? What's his name? Bobby. Okay, how long have you been knowing Bobby? You've been knowing him for how long? 2 years, 3 years, 5 years? How does he, what kind of work does he do? Does he do good work? Okay, you've taken your truck there. What has he done for you? Okay, great. If you get good feedback, that's the way I would go about that. Just again, it goes back to building connections. Talk to guys that are already in the dump truck business and ask them, hey, who's your mechanic? What has he done for you? And I would just gather a list. If I went in my phone right now, Javier, I probably have, and I could show you guys here on Instagram. If I type in diesel mechanics on that phone, I don't want to exaggerate, I probably have over 30 phone numbers. And what I had to do was just kind of filter them out, right? So now I have a 2 set mechanics, and those are my guys that I stick to. But I hope that answers your question. Luis is asking, what is the hourly pay in the Texas market? To the last question you answered. Minimum hourly rate charge you can request from general contractors. Okay, I see what you're saying now. Okay, I was actually telling you the minimum amount of hours I would request. So as far as the hourly rate, well, Luis, it's an open-ended question. It depends on what kind of dump trucks you're going to send out there. Are they tandems? Are they tris? Are they quads? Are they quin axle? Right? Are they 6-axle, meaning 6 axles in the rear? Depends on what kind of dump truck, right? So depending on the size of the dump truck, that's going to depend on the hourly rate you're going to charge, right? Because the bigger the dump truck, the more material it can haul. So the hourly rate is going to naturally increase, meaning you're going to charge them more. So I kind of have to go that route to answer your question to my best of ability. I have to know what kind of dump trucks you're planning on sending out there. or it could be an end dump trailer, right? So, all right, Javier, my brother, let me see. If I see a dump truck for sale in another city or state that I want to purchase, how do I find a mechanic that would go and look at it for me to see if it is worth my time to go there and buy it? Thanks. Okay, Javier, I know exactly what you're asking. So I've actually bought trucks in other states. I've actually gone all the way out to California to buy trucks in the past. And the reason why I like going out to California, Javier, is I'm not sure how much you know about the state of California, but they keep them tight over there, meaning they make sure DOT out there is, man, they're tight with those guys out there running those trucks. They make sure their trucks are top notch. So, and it's just really honestly their federal regulations. So most of the guys in California, one of the things that I learned is when their trucks get to about the 10 to 12 year point, they usually sell them, even if it's in good shape, because of the way their laws and regulations, state laws and regulations, and the way DOT's out there. So I've gone out to California and bought some used trucks in really great conditions and gotten some actual good deals. Now, to answer your question about mechanics, me being in the business, I actually already know what to look for. And I did a video about that too, by the way. We just dropped the video last week, right, Kai? That was last week. Hopefully that video will help you. Watch that video, and I think that video will help you. But yes, what I've done is I've gone, obviously myself, and of course I know what to look for because of the experience. Now, if you don't have a whole bunch of experience, I get it. You're looking for a mechanic out there. What I've done, Javier, I know it may be maybe not very cost efficient for you if you're new and just started. I've actually taken one of my guys that used to be a mechanic, and he's now a driver. I've paid him, the daily rate that he would normally, earn here in Houston. He flies out with me, and we go and we check out the truck. That's the route I've gone. Now, to be sincere with you, I have not hired other mechanics. When I'm out there, I don't hire other mechanics. I really don't know anybody as far as mechanics in the state of California when I went out there. So again, I took my guy. But as far as the suggestion, I would probably maybe, look for guys that are in the state of California. I'm not sure what city, right? But wherever city it is, in my example, right? If I was going out to California again and I wasn't going with my guy and I didn't know much about him, what I could do is I could look up and maybe make some connections, look up somebody that's in the dump truck business out there and, just try to establish some kind of connection and just ask them, hey, man, do you know any mechanics out there? Do you use a mechanic? And I'm sure they'll send you a mechanic's phone number, right? And just call the mechanic and just be very straight up with them. Be like, hey, listen, man, I'm actually in, Houston, Texas. You know what? I'm not from LA, but look, so-and-so talked really good about you. Would you be willing to come out and check this truck for an hour, or 45 minutes? I'm willing to pay you, a good rate. I know you may charge, X amount of dollars, but I'm willing to pay you a little extra if you're willing to come out and help me and check out this truck. That would be a way that I would also go about it. Hope that answers your question. We got anybody else on Instagram? Adams Trucking. All right. When you approach a potential client, how do you introduce yourself and your services in the best way to land some jobs or build a business relationship with them? So how do you introduce yourself? Mr. ABC Construction, how you doing? My name is Jay Mancini. I've been in business for 2011. I work with X amount of contractors. And what I would do is I would tell them I work with XYZ Construction Company. I work with AFG, construction. I've done work in, let's say the Galveston area. I've done work in Huntsville. I've done work in Beaumont. I've done work in Katy. So what I do is, what I'm getting at is I would give them a resume pretty much. What I'm doing is I'm telling them why they should hire me, right? So it's kind of like an interview, right? What I'm going to do, and I make it short. I won't go very long. Okay. Sometimes if you talk too much, that kind of, might turn them off. Just be short and straight to the point. Tell them, hey, this is some of the work I've done. These are some of the contractors that we service. And I'm even willing to give you their contacts if you want to reach out to them. And it's kind of like giving them a resume. And that's the way I would go about that. What is the baseline horsepower for a dump truck? Hauling gravel. It's kind of a open question. So as far as hauling gravel, truthfully, it doesn't matter if it's gravel, asphalt, sand, dirt, tons are tons. It just depends on the type of dump truck you're interested in buying and purchasing. So, meaning, if you're looking to just buy like a tandem dump truck, truthfully, as far as horsepower, something as small as a 350, 375, you're probably fine with it. If you're looking to have like a triaxle or a quad, I would go with anything 400 horsepower and above. And if you're definitely looking to buy a 5-axle, 6-axle, a Super 16, Super 18, I'm not sure where you're located, those trucks that haul 20 tons and above, I definitely suggest something with 420 horsepower and above. Hey, Jay, financing a dump truck seems to be a challenge. True. The banks want you to have at least 2 years of experience. True. Is there a way to offset that without paying 20% or more down on the dump truck? What I would do is a way to offset that without paying 20% or more down on the truck. So I'm not sure what your financial situation is, and that's your personal business. But one thing I would do, and I'm not sure where you're located, David, but here in the Houston area, okay, there's actually dealerships out there that are actually willing to finance a truck for you without giving 20% down. So I'm not sure where you're going, and I think you're probably going to the big dealerships. You're probably going to and I don't want to name any of the big names out there and give them free propaganda, but you're probably going to the dealership with a brand new truck. I'm assuming based on the question. Here in Houston, hey, I can tell you how many guys I've had that work for us that, to be transparent with you, we just don't have the capital to go out and put 20% on a brand new truck. I mean, brand new trucks nowadays, Lord have mercy, man, they're like over 200,000. Even the tandem trucks it's crazy now. So, if you got a $200,000 truck and they're asking you to put 20% down, that's like 40 grand, right? Yeah, I know it's a lot of money. Do some research, brother. See if there's any of the smaller, I call it mom and pop dealerships that are willing to, sell you a nice used truck. You may only have to put like 5% or 10% down. They're going to do a credit check, but if your credit is good, hey, you got to give something in return, right? So they do a credit check. They may tell you, hey, give me 5%, give me 10%. Remember, you can negotiate that too, David. So, negotiate that and try to get you a used truck, man. If your main priority for you is to start in the business, you can start with a used truck. Just make sure it's in a good, reliable condition where you don't have a whole bunch of maintenance and repairs down the road, right? So that's what a lot of the guys have done here in Houston. We hired guys in the past that, and I can't tell you how many because there's been a lot of them that that's the way they've gone. They've gone to some of these smaller dealerships, mom and pop dealerships here in the greater Houston area. And I've heard some of these guys tell me they put like $10,000 down and walked out of there with a dump truck. I hope there's dealerships out there like that. Some of those smaller dealerships in your area. I'm not sure because I don't know where you're at. But look for them. There may be some of those smaller dealerships out there. I hope that helps.